Hello and welcome to the Connect Show, where we're connecting students to careers. My name is Lane Walker. I'm the principal to Huron Area Technical Center, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Tom Greene, sports reporter for the Huron Daily Tribune. He's going to talk to us about his career journey into sports journalism. Tom, I want to thank you for joining us.
Well, Mr. Walker, thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you're a local legend around the thumb, so
well,
thank you.
I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you. We want to start off by talking with you about how you started your career path and how it's led you to where you are today.
Well, so the career path has a lot of different ways and things around it. And first off, I would say to the students that are watching this, if you really don't know what you want to do in your career, that's okay, because you don't really know what you really want to do until you find that niche. And for me, I found that niche pretty early on. I first actually, when I was at Essexville Schools as Kramer Junior High, I was a musician. I played the trombone for 7 years at Kramer and Essexville Garber High School. But what really got me started was a conversation with Fox Sports and MLB writer John Paul Morosi. He graduated from Essexville Garber in the year 2000. I graduated in 2013. He made a few guest appearances at the Bay Arnett Career Center as well as Essexville Schools. And he and I got along pretty well, and it was those connections like that that really started the drive for me. And in 2010, when I was a sophomore at Garber High School, Athletic Director Dave Schwartz had me try the public address announcing, and so I did public address announcing for first JV girls games and then varsity girls, varsity boys, eventually becoming what I would say the voice of the Dukes from 2013 until 2019, doing Essexville Garber varsity football games and varsity basketball games. I also tapped into varsity volleyball a little bit, played on the golf team at Essexville Garber for 3 years. Did not make it as a sophomore, but that kind of got my drive into literally in golf and in the sport in that as well. So I've definitely taken a lot of different career paths, and what got started was a conversation with John Morosi and doing a lot of freelance sports coverage for Essexville Garber High School.
All right.
In Bay County, of course.
Well, being a sports reporter, your day is not a typical day, an 8 to 3 job.
It's far from it.
So what does a typical day for Tom Greene look like?
Well, there are a few different ways to answer that. I will answer that in this time of year when it comes to the basketball playoffs, and that is a lot of days I will start at around 9 in the morning because my print deadline at the Huron Daily Tribune is at 10 a.m. So I have to get things ready by 10 a.m. There are some days where I'll stay at home and start for the print deadline. There are some days where I'll come to the office, and I will work in the morning and early afternoon about different stories for press, take a break in the afternoon if we have games, and cover games in the evening. So it's a lot of round the clock for me, but there are definite breaks in between, and there are times where you can turn the switch off and turn the switch back on. You can take a moment and breathe. You can do things. So it's a lot of work. In the off season, though, days are a little bit easier. I will still come in the morning and get out around 4-ish and have stories ready for the next day. So it's a lot about production, and it's a lot about keeping tabs on what's going on in the area.
And right now we're in the middle of March, so it's kind of really your busy time. March Madness is in full swing for local athletes. So knowing that that right now you're working around the clock, what do you enjoy most about your work? Why did you choose it, and what gets you up in the morning and makes you smile about going to work?
Honestly, covering high school sports, it is a lot about the kids, and it's because, when I was doing the freelance PA stuff at Essexville Garber, I went to high school with a lot of those kids, and I knew a lot of the kids growing up, and even as I started to age a little bit, sure, I'm only 29 years old, but still a youngin'. But the thing is, it's a lot about the kids because they want their stories told. And the community wants to hear about their athletes and their stories and their community. It's a lot about the athletes I cover and the communities that read our paper and take genuine interest in all these sporting events that are going on, whether it's basketball or wrestling or baseball and softball coming up, track, football, cross country, etc. It's a lot more than just one sport. Bad Act Superintendent Greg Newland told me sports or coaching is a 12-month-a-year sport. Sports writing is a 12-month-a-year sport as well.
Absolutely. So you've been up in, we'll call it the thumb. Some could say Garber's close to the thumb. I mean, it's relatively close, but when you think of thumb, we think of Huron, Tuscola, Sand Lake.
Right.
You've been up since 2019? Is that when you say you?
Yes, I started at the radio station in 2019 and got to the Tribune for the 2021 fall season.
So the past 5 years, what are some of your favorite or what sports memories stand out the most in your 5 years of being a thumb person?
Well, there's a few. USA softball winning their 3 state championships, being on the field there at Sekia Stadium in East Lansing. They've had covering them and seeing that a public school can do this, because a lot of times when you have those consecutive runs of state championships, it's run by a lot of private schools. But
Right.
USA is very much a public school, and the machine, I would say, that they've created is something else. Also, being at Ford Field twice to cover Ubly State Championships. Of course, the first time they lost to Ottawa Lake Whiteford in Division 8, but in 2023 they won the state championship in Division 8, and that was a great experience. So a lot of the stories that keep me going, especially, are the times where we hit the state portion of the postseason, and how our area teams compare to teams such as Ottawa Lake Whiteford or Mendon or Holton or different areas of the state where they come there and maybe they expect to win, maybe they don't. But seeing our thumb area teams excel on the state level is great. Not only for me to cover, but for the area to watch and see.
Yeah. Well, we have great kids. We have great athletes.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
when they make a postseason run, it just proves to other people we already know that we have great athletes. We have great communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of students that I think have interest in sports broadcasting,
Oh,
sports
yes.
journalism. Sports are a unifying topic for a lot of people. What would you recommend to a student who's looking to get into sports journalism? What advice would you give them how to get started?
First thing I would have is be authentic, because a lot of, I run a freelance show called the Tom Greene Podcast where I cover Detroit sports and variety and other things around the news and sports, and a lot of that is based off of authenticity and what I think about things. And networking is a huge part of it, because I think it's no secret I've been around personalities such as Laura Rutledge from ESPN, Jenny Taft from Fox, Tim Brando from Fox, and countless others I could name on this show, but we'd probably be here about a half hour longer if I did mention that. So one of the first things I would say is be authentic and do not be afraid to talk to people, because a lot of sports, broadcasting, writing, journalism, etc., it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know, and it's about fostering relationships and connections and maintaining those connections on a respectable professional level and whatnot. And it is no secret there are times where I've made mistakes in that too, and that's another thing, is do not be afraid to make mistakes, because they happen. It's how you bounce back from them that really tells you who's going to make it, who's not. And that's not only on the field, that's off the field, whether that it's in the job market or in journalism or whatnot. And another thing that I will add is that being an all-state representative has, for our region, has definitely made me see a lot more about the state in terms of our high school athletics. And I'm very privileged to be a part of that and to represent our area on the all-state level. And that's another thing, is you just have to be authentic and be yourself. And if you can do that, you will go a long way. The quote, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken," is something that I'm thinking about right now. And if you can do that, especially on a personal, professional level, you can succeed. And it may not be in this network. It can be in something else. But what do you want to do, and pursue that, is pretty much what I would have to say.
That's great. Thank you. One question I have is, since you kind of moved up to the thumb, what would you say are the characteristics of the people and the athletes and the students you interact with? What are some characteristics that stand out to you that is strong in the thumb?
Well, the thumb is definitely I would call it an everybody knows everybody type of region. And, you know, when I was in high school, it was kind of right before what I would consider the social media boom. And what I mean by that to students listening is that back in the Essexville and Bay Area, we really didn't have closer connections with people from other schools like we do here. Yes, we had the Bay Area Career Center, but that's all really about how we made friends and relationships outside of our own school. And now with social media being a big thing as it is, you're seeing a lot of relationships from other schools and other regions. And this area, I think very much, and I very much commend them for this, is we support each other. The Big Thumb Conference, our teams support each other on whether it's the cross-country fields especially. I will watch in the fall in cross-country where you'll see you will see a USA kid cheering on a Harbor Beach kid, and vice versa, or a Kingston kid cheering on a Mayville kid, etc. And the thing is, it's a lot about that camaraderie within the area that really speaks out to me, because I hear about the term thumb strong, and I think that this region definitely is thumb strong, where we not only support the people that we go to school with in our own school, but we support those within our division in our conference. And I think that you can see it a lot here at the Huron Tech Center. Even though this is my first time in the Tech Center, I would imagine that you will see a lot of that camaraderie within different schools across Huron County. Now, with my paper, we also cover Cass City and Deckerville, but same thing. They're also in these conference divisions, and they will support each other. You have the rivalries, of course. I think we all know about those, but even when we're not in the rivalry, I see kids supporting kids from that other school, and it takes a lot of heart to do that, and I really commend the Thumb and our athletes for doing that.
Yeah, I think you hit on it. I've always felt loyalty is huge in the Thumb, to your school, then to other people in the Thumb. Well, Tom, I want to thank you for joining us.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to thank you for being a special guest here on the Connect Show. Thank you all watching this content today. Check out our YouTube channel for more career stories from around this great state of Michigan. Have a great day. Tom, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you.